All right, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the absolutely mind-blowing true story of a legendary sunken city. And what's so cool about this is how it brilliantly bridges the gap between ancient scriptures and modern hard science. We're going on a journey that kind of challenges everything we thought we knew about human history, uncovering secrets that have literally been hiding beneath the ocean waves for thousands of years. I want you to just picture this for a second. What if a fabled utopia from the ancient Hindu scriptures, a place described as having unimaginable wealth and, honestly, super advanced technology, wasn't just a bedtime story? What if it was an actual, physical place just waiting to be discovered at the bottom of the Arabian Sea? Well, as we're going to see today, truth is often stranger and way more fascinating than fiction.
Part 1. A myth becomes reality. This whole investigation kicks off with a seriously humbling concept: the unknown unknowns. The source material categorizes knowledge into a few types, but this is by far the most humbling one. I mean, think about it. Just like centuries ago we had no clue that dinosaurs existed, or that invisible radio waves could carry information through the air, the underwater discovery of Dwarka proves just how much of our past is still an unknown unknown. We literally just don't know what we don't know yet.
Part 2. The City of Gold.
So according to the ancient texts, to protect his people from constant attacks, Lord Krishna needed land to build a brand new, impenetrable city. The texts actually state that he borrowed 12 yojanas of land directly from the sea god, Varun. To put that into perspective, that's equivalent to 153.6 kilometers. It's wild because it reads exactly like the massive modern land reclamation projects we see today in places like Singapore or Dubai, just executed thousands of years ago.
And here is where it gets incredibly fascinating. The sources note that Dwarka was designed by Vishwakarma, the divine architect, who, by the way, also built the thunderbolt for the god Indra. Notice the striking parallel to Greek mythology here. Hephaestus was the divine blacksmith who built palaces and Zeus's thunderbolt. It really makes you pause and wonder, right? Are these crazy similarities across continents just a total coincidence? Or are we looking at evidence of a shared ancient history?
And the scale of Dwarka's descriptions in the texts? It's just off the charts. The city is supposedly housed over 900 palaces constructed from silver, crystal, and gold. 900. Plus, it wasn't just stunning to look at, it was a fortress. It featured this highly advanced defensive system called Vari Dorg, which ancient texts describe basically as anti-aircraft weaponry meant to protect the city from aerial attacks. The sources point out that this sounds way less like ancient history and almost like some futuristic sci-fi prediction.
Part 3. Curses and Civil War. Okay, so here's where things take a dark turn, triggering a tragic domino effect of curses. It starts off with a grieving mother cursing Krishna's lineage. Then, his son mockingly insults a group of sages and is cursed to birth an iron rod that's destined to destroy their entire clan. That cursed rod is destroyed, but a piece of it eventually becomes the tip of a hunter's arrow. Amidst a totally brutal civil war, that exact arrow mistakenly strikes Krishna, triggering his departure and the immediate catastrophic sinking of the city.
But here's the real kicker. While the curses make for a very dramatic mythological stage, self-destruction was the actual culprit. The sources emphasize that it was unchecked arrogance, excessive drinking, deep moral decay, and this bitter, violent internal infighting among the Yadava clan that truly destroyed this great civilization from the inside out. The curses? They were really just a reflection of their own failing dharma.
Part 4. The Archaeological Quest. The way this physical hunt unfolded is straight out of an adventure movie. We're talking initial reports back in the 1930s from fishermen and pilots spotting these weird, perfectly straight lines under the water. Fast forward to 1983, and a brave marine archaeologist named Dr. S.R. Rao led physical scuba diving expeditions into some seriously rough waters. Those early, dangerous dives ultimately paved the way for a massive campaign in 2001, where they brought in high-tech sonar mapping to scan the ocean floor.
And you literally cannot talk about this discovery without talking about the absolute dedication of Dr. S.R. Rao. Get this. He started his initial 1980s marine expeditions with a mere 800 rupees in funding. 800. People genuinely thought he was crazy for chasing a quote-unquote myth. He even dipped into his own personal salary just to buy food for his diving team. It was his unyielding belief in the historical accuracy of those ancient texts that drove this whole thing.
Now, when you stack the ancient Puranas up against the actual archaeological findings, it is staggering. The texts mention 50 massive pillars, while divers found over 30 stone pillars down there. The texts describe a thriving, advanced port. Archaeologists discovered these complex three-hole stone anchors that prove highly advanced navigation. The texts say land was reclaimed from the ocean. Divers mapped a massive, 560-meter-long man-made wall completely underwater. You just can't argue with that kind of validation.
Part 5. Science of the Sinting.
So divers bring up these artifacts, pottery, wooden fragments, ancient seals, and they send them to laboratories all over the globe for carbon dating. And the results completely shocked the scientific community. Some of these submerged artifacts date back an astonishing 9,000 years. I mean, that pushes the timeline of advanced human civilization way, way before the Mesopotamian era. It completely shatters our conventional historical timelines.
So how on earth does a massive city just vanish? Well, scientists tracked 20,000 years of oceanographic data, and they found this massive anomaly. Around 5000 BCE, global sea levels suddenly and violently rose by several meters, bringing massive tsunamis with them. The sources note that evidence of this rapid sea level rise isn't just found in India. It matches data from the Caribbean all the way to Indonesia. This sudden natural cataclysm perfectly aligns with the exact timeline of Dwarka's legendary submersion. And I think this just brilliantly illustrates how faith and science aren't actually competing ideas here. It's more like looking through a dual lens. There's simply two different languages describing the exact same catastrophic event. One uses the language of curses, divine will, and karma, while the other uses carbon dating, geology, and rapid sea level rise. But when you put them together, they give us the complete picture.
Part 6. Warnings for the present. You know, the sources point out this incredibly sobering parallel. They connect the historical hubris and self-destruction of the ancient Yadavas straight to our modern world. We are seeing the exact same patterns today, right? Internal global conflicts tearing societies apart, prioritizing human greed over the environment, and the tragic irony of cultures that worship rivers while simultaneously making them the most polluted on Earth. We're totally ignoring the natural laws, exactly like they did. Which brings us to a really profound takeaway. Just as Lord Krishna understood that he only borrowed the land for Dwarka from the sea, and, eventually the sea took it back, we are merely temporary borrowers of this earth. We are absolutely not its permanent masters. Nothing is permanent, and nature, well, she always reclaims what is hers. So, it leaves us with this pretty haunting question to wrap up this explainer. If an incredibly advanced, supposedly impenetrable city, a city literally built by a god, couldn't survive the deadly combination of human arrogance, internal division, and nature's wrath, can ours? It's a question that echoes right up from the bottom of the ocean, asking us to take a really hard look in the mirror.